source of check and balance for the us rakyat Malaysia, and I'm very thankful for them. But I can't help but be pessimistic about the situation in the rural areas where internet connectivity isn't that widespread, and even if it is, they opt to watch Bobo or Chachao or things that do not pertain to concerns of the national concerns, concerns of the wider rakyat. So my question is, what are you doing about that? Or what do you plan to do about that? Thank you.
Tanya pasal tindakan yang just continue from where Kikuan joined. I believe in the power of petitions, especially from journalists, because we did it once in 1999, 2000. We managed to get journalists in the mainstream media in print without online. At the time, Malaysia TV was just fledgling. To sign a petition asking the Home Minister of Pakla. We also got the right guy. He's a nice guy. To repeal the PPPA, and can we repeat that, because I think Najib is under a lot of pressure internationally, because we just had the UPR, and this time we have the power of the people behind us. I believe because after Bersih, one of Bersih's demands was free access to free media or something like that. So I suggest plan of action first is to get that same petition from mainstream journalists. I don't believe that they think that their jobs will be in any danger for signing a petition asking for the repeal of PPA. I think we can get them to do that again. Provided we have the same factors, maybe you can explain all the factors that were successful last time. And the second action after that, if that petition is ignored, then we have a hartal. We have mogok, we have journalists not working for a day, and with the power of the people behind them.
Okay. I don't mind not working for a day.
We
have Pata already. Yeah. Yes. The young gentleman.
Hi, my name is Mark. I used to be a reporter with the Star from 96, 99, and 2001, 2007. And I was a reporter with the Heat for a month. Left for personal reasons. I just want to say that this fight is really about the printed media, because when I was in the Star, I've had editors who tell me, we're not going to publish stories, we're not going to give bullets to the opposition to shoot our own politicians. I had editors tell me, we are an MCA paper, whether you like it or not. Okay? There are people inside there who want to do good. We all came from that environment. We all sought to do better things. This fight is actually about them. We have to fight for the mainstream media. And if I might say, the reason why they aren't here is I can just equate it to the abused housewife syndrome. Alright? You don't know how to ask for help. They need help, but they don't know how to ask for it. They are scared. They don't dare to stand up for themselves, which is why we are here to stand up for them. Alright? And one of my friends actually asked me, if they are not part of this, what is the point? You're all online media. You're not affected. We need to stand up for them. All right, thanks.
Okay, I think Anwar's question, what are we doing the online media to, to get the rural to come on without much internet connection and all that? What are we doing to get to that? Who would like to answer that? We know?
Brother Anwar, sorry, hi. Okay, in regards to how we are going to penetrate into the rural areas and all that, brother, just to let you know that we as media, supposedly we don't take sides. Okay, we disseminate, we are the messengers basically. All right, so we don't speak support in an ideal situation. Yeah? We don't speak for Barisan Nasional, we don't speak for Barisan or for Pakatan Rakyat. Okay, we are the messengers. We present things as it is. All right. Now, in regards to coming back to your question, okay, how do we online people penetrate into rural areas? Now, Brother Anwar, may I ask you where you're from? Your hometown?
Bidong, Kedah.
Bidong, Kedah. Bidong, if I'm not mistaken, is a semi-urban area, if I'm not mistaken, semi-rural?
It's semi-rural more than semi-urban.
Okay. And you have mentioned that we have limited access in rural areas, right? And okay. So it's up to people like you to disseminate news over there. People who have access to information. You are here. You have access. People like you, okay, youngsters like us, okay. It is up to us to connect, to bridge that divide, to bridge that gap. So when we have that news over here, it is up to us. Let's start something. We start slow. Let's start with our parents and siblings first. They don't have internet connectivity. To be honest, my hometown, I am from Kulim, Kedah. My parents do not have internet connection at home. But I dare to say, my father is one of the first person to oppose Dr. Mahathir. Even though he doesn't know much what's happening that time, the media restrictions quite tight and all that. Okay, but having said that, it is up to people like us to disseminate, to take that news and deliver it to the people, to educate them, to tell them, okay, this is what you have read. Actually, there's another version. This is what's happening. It is people like you and I. In a place where there's no internet connectivity, it depends to the people who have the connectivity to go back and disseminate that information. Word of mouth. I came from a marketing background, and previously I came from a marketing background, and one of the most powerful marketing, from what I was taught, one of the most powerful marketing tools is actually the word of mouth. So it's up to people like us to go and disseminate that information to them. Yes, brother.
I come from an education background. I study education and inshallah I'll be going on to be a teacher. I just want to propose, I guess, for online media to get in touch with some schools and I guess work towards educating the general public about being able to think, basically. Being in education, I've grown pessimistic towards some of the aspects in the Ministry of Education. And I do actually think that it is up to, like you said, people like you and me, to disseminate that kind of knowledge. But the frameworks that we have and the system that is currently in place would not encourage those kinds of things. So I think somehow band together and work towards a more, I want to say educated, but that's wrong, more civic. Rather, just get us to think more. Just get students to think more, get teachers to think more, especially teachers. Can target only teachers, that will be good enough. Thank you.
Okay, brother, you are going to be a teacher, right? You are in the right field. Define the system. Teach them to think. You don't have to tell them what to think. You can teach them to think. Alright, I can share with you one experience when I was a teacher, but not a graduate teacher like you. I used to teach kids. Okay? This is nothing to do with politics or whatsoever, but just to let you know, just something that to share with you. I actually, when I taught, it's actually a program. Okay, it's a private program that I taught to a kid. Okay, the kid is about 5 years old. Okay, so I was teaching. But the thing is, what I noticed about this particular kid is that the kid was overburdened with so many programs. Okay, before my class started, the kid would have went to probably about 2 to 3 tuition classes before the kid came and studied with me. And you know what I did? I brainwashed the kid to make sure that I get the parent to cancel my program. Because I wanted the kid to have at least that 1 hour rest. That 1 hour was my time to teach, but I wanted the kid to tell the parents that they don't want me as a teacher anymore, don't want the program anymore because the program sucks, so that that kid can have that 1 hour rest before he goes for the next class. I lost an income there actually, but I feel that I did it for the best interest for the child. So brother, the question is, can you do something like that? Teach your students, your future students, to think. You can work your way within the system. There is some way. There are some ways. I did it, but not in the context of mainstream education. But I did it. But there are ways that you can teach. You can educate your children. Your students. Always remember, treat your students as your children, and you will know what to do.
Sorry. I knew I forgot to ask the question.
Yeah, I thought so.
The question actually was, who is going to lead this fight? Because the way everything is being done now, everyone is organized. Everyone has their own opinions. But this fight needs a leader. Who is going to lead? That is my question.
Okay, that we'll have to ask the organizer. He will answer later on. Okay, Suyang's question is about the petition that Malaysia Kini managed to get the mainstream press and the online. So I think the best person is Stephen to answer that, because he was leading that petition at that point of time. Or Mas can answer also. Do you know the petition in 1999-2000?
The petition in 1999 was actually led by a small group of journalists. It's not organized. If we're looking for leaders, there wasn't a leader then. It's basically a group of journalists who felt compelled, looking at reformasi that was happening out there and looking at the possibility for changes and understanding the yearning for change that people had and were speaking outside, and looking at how the media that they worked for then covered the issues and how skewed the coverage was. That actually was the impetus for the journalists then to limit that petition to mainstream media. So maybe what we can do, we already have a petition online, so maybe people with connections with those who work in print media can help get them to sign that. Maybe we can get like just a set that is signed just by people who are from print media. That's one. Two, I think I like the idea that Suyang said that there's a lot of pressure that Najib is under. Maybe we can work on tightening the screws on it. Per se, one of the key demands for Bersih, there are 8 demands. One of the 8 demands is actually free and fair media. That's something that perhaps Bersih as an NGO, as a civil society organization that brings together various groups, different kinds of organizations. And when Bersih calls for a rally, we know that 80,000 people are going to show up, at least 50,000 people are going to show up. So these could be the ways with which we can exert that kind of change. So I think in terms of asking for one person to lead the fight, maybe one of the challenges that say the opposition is facing, there's Anwar Ibrahim, who's supposed to be the person leading that fight. I'm not sure if that is the best model for us to push for media freedom. I think in order to push for media freedom, there must be different points of pressure, different groups that are actually pushing for the change and for that change to take effect. It's going to take a while, as we can see, but it's going to happen. I think one of the things that we forget when we talk about media, we always talk about media not serving this political party or that political party. We always forget that media's role is actually to serve the rakyat. If media serves anyone, it is actually the people. It is the people's interest that the media is supposed to serve. And we need to be very clear about that. And I think that's like something that is a guiding principle for all of us who have been in media and those who are also practicing in media, and something that needs to be popularized. Thanks.
Yes, one last question.
Yeah, it's actually I find that generous in a way, because the main thing is I believe in Taiwan iron is hot, and the heat is really really the right time, and the volume of support, I think we have to act on it. And it's like the petition, which is I think very soft, but nevertheless it's the first thing. But follow up with whatever mob or whatever, continuously until the safe harbor, which is coming. So let that be ongoing. And I think this is the greatest opportunity. And then also keep on what is it, all the past, what is it, 1987, keep on pushing that to the, keep that on the focus within this short time.
Yes, obviously many of us here are wondering what's the next step. And Mark's answer, that is more like Mark's question, and Fatih will answer to that. Let's just wrap up for now. I'm so sorry because we are really running out of time. There is a need, from all what the speaker said, there is a need, a very urgent need for the loose coalition, at least for news portal journalists, because we are not under NUJ or anything. Please don't go away yet, because there is a very important announcement by Fatih after this. And there is a need for more protection for journalists. Bear in mind that we Malaysian journalists are not protected in any way. There's no insurance for us. We go to the war, we get killed, we don't have any payouts. Okay? And then there is also the fact that must say, use the law to fight the law. That means take them to court. KDN has the right to issue permits. We can't get the permits. We go to the court to get them to issue the permit. So use the law to fight the law. And the 3 key ingredients that Stephen had said, which was the strong opposition, the need for a strong opposition, the need for a strong civil society, and the need for independent media. That is very, very important in creating a country which bears on democracy. And then there is a need for journalists to push harder. Yes, many of us have pushed, and many of us are getting old. Okay, like Stephen said, his hair has always been white anyway. So yes, we need to push harder, and I think many of us will push harder. We started to rock the boat by just coming here. We will push harder. And then the fact that KDN still has too much power. So I hope to God that out of the 8,000 viewers, Zahid is watching. Okay, and And then the fact that there is a very important need for the journalists to keep to the ethics of journalism and fight where they can. And with that, I thank you, but don't go away yet, because Mark's answer and what do you call Pope as answer, Fatih will answer.
Terima kasih Zakia. Terima kasih kepada semua yang hadir dan menonton. Saya rasa di antara banyak speaker yang menggugah keimanan saya malam ini ialah Hatta Wahadi. Bukan saja semangat dan idenya yang luar biasa menarik, tapi juga perjalanan yang jauh dari Kuantan ke sini, dari tempat banjir ke tempat kering. Jadi sebagai menghangatkan sikit malam sempurna ini, kita shout slogan-slogan sikit boleh ya? Hidup, 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 hidup media, hidup media, hidup, 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 hidup media, hidup media, free, 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 free the press, free the press. Jadi cadangan harta tu macam kita nak guling kerajaan. Teleponan guling kerajaan 31 Disember. Pada 4 Januari kita tak mau guling kerajaan, kita mau giling kerajaan. Pada 4 hari bulan Januari, Geram akan berkempen dan tempoh seminggu daripada sekarang untuk menganjurkan satu protes yang kita namakan protes pensel merah. Seorang akan dapat pensel daripada penganjur dan kita patahkan pensel ini sebagai simbol pencabulan, siri-siri pencabulan sebenarnya ke harta wartawan dan juga organisasi media. Ini protes simbolik. Oleh kerana heat membakar kita semua, bahan kehangatan yang membakar kita semua, beberapa siri demand yang kita edarkan antaranya ialah soal bersih. Jadi soal keganasan, violence dan pencabulan pada pengamal media ketika bersih tahun lepas 2012. Perkara ini belum diselesaikan lagi. Salah kecil The Hit ini dipandang besar oleh KDN dan gantung tanpa bertanya, independently. Ya, tak tahu bila. Kalau pengalaman saya dulu, kalau 2 bulan, 3 bulan tak jawab tu tak ada lah. Tak ada harapan. Ya. Dan malah kelakarnya KDN ni boleh negotiate. Tak apa. Kita tutup yang ni, kita beri permit baru. Itu ada juga dalam situasi-situasi seperti yang KDN amalkan. So mulai malam ni dengan bantuan saudara-saudari yang hadir malam ni, tolong tweet, tolong Facebook, pihak penganjur, pihak sekretariat akan mempromosikan kempen terus kita pada hari Sabtu depan 4 Januari we hit the street. If the hit doesn't hit the newsstand soon, we'll hit the street. If the hit newsstand, we hit the street anyway. Because ingat 4 Januari perjuangan kita bukan untuk menghidupkan lagi. Salah satu daripada 8 tuntutan agenda kita itu ialah menghidupkan kembali diri. Masalahnya mak, bukan masalah MCA, UMNO, PKR di PAS nak ada surat khabar sendiri. Masalahnya saya nak surat khabar harus beri pada saya. Malaysia Kini nak permit harus daripada Malaysia Kini. Itu masalahnya. Saya tak kisah kalau Star nak buat MCA pun, saya pernah kerja di Star untuk 2 tahun. Kawan saya juga ada. Tak ada masalah. Salahnya memberi hak pada orang lain untuk mendapat hak menepik yang sama. Dan itu pulang pada kita lah. Sama ada laku atau tidak, kita dapat investor atau tidak, kita dapat iklan atau tidak. Malaysia Kini contohnya berminat untuk mendapatkan permit akhbar. Dan sepatutnya, sebagaimana saya ulang tadi, tidak menjadi masalah. Terus sebagai merumuskan, terima kasih saudara-saudari sekalian yang hadir pada hari ini. Terima kasih kepada saudara-saudara speaker, saudara-saudari speaker. Tepukan gemuruh untuk kita semua. Terima kasih kepada penganjur wartawan-wartawan muda yang memberi saya semangat muda yang baru. Sudah lama dah sebenarnya tak beraktivisme. Saya berapa tahun bergeluman dengan Malaysia Kini je. Dari rumah balik rumah, dari rumah. Malam inilah malam antara yang beri semangat kerana teman-teman yang muda ini. Jadi terus bersama kami, terus bersama Twitter, media Gram, terus bersama dengan Facebook, dan terus bersama dengan kenyataan-kenyataan media. Dan kita minta tolonglah, paling basic daripada kawan-kawan mainstream. Saya dengar berita harian, Utusan, NST, Star, Surat Khabar Cina, Surat Khabar Tamil juga menyokong gerakan menuntut kebebasan media. Paling basic saya minta, siarkan kenyataan akhbar kita. Dan Alhamdulillah setakat ini memang banyak media yang beri sokongan menyiarkan pandangan-pandangan dan program kita. Sekian, terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.